is just fantastic. Captain's log, subject 220414.8. If we decimate these rebels, take their base, steal their swag, and parade their limp rhubarb corpses throughout the sector, will my enemies fear me, or just use the crucified stalks as budget sex toys? Welcome everyone to the exhibition of stupid people. Today we're going to start with the WWE, and at the end we're going to circle back to it. I like things that swing in roundabouts, I guess. But also, it's nice to have a topic that starts and ends, which does mean, yes, I may well just go off on one at one point. Multiple points. Okay, just the one. The second one is quite amusing. So to start, we're going to talk about some of the superstars, wrestlers, former, that have been released by the WWE who have had things to say since their departure. Many people know that when it came to someone like Keith Lee, Vince saw great potential in him, but a year later, he was released and now competes for AEW. And the reason why is because many believe his attitude was one, but also his physique is the other. I'm sure Vince, what he saw was, all that baby fat could just go and show me the muscles, man. Just show me the muscles. Because as is well established at this point, Vinny loves himself some muscles. Former WWE superstar Ashanti the Adonis, who goes by the name Tahuti Miles, if I've mispronounced that I'm sorry, has said that Vince and Paul Heyman, no less, had in fact promised the Hit Row faction big things when they were part of the company. They were formed in 2021 and started out on the NXT brand. I recognized one of them because that particular superstar went to Legends to get some of their former swag, to then put it in the museum, the WWE Museum, the archives, with money going to charity. Later that year, they were called up to SmackDown. Soon after, they were released. That potential, right? I'm glad to see you saw it and decided, nah fam, none of you got the muscles I need. I need someone that can put Roman over, because I've spent most of a decade trying to put him over with Brock Lesnar, and I think the majority of us have seen neither of them know how to put on a long format match, least of all when both get injured. Good timing, right? So what's happening to that title? The interesting fact though is, Hit Row on NXT did in fact do quite well. It is highly likely when they were called to the main roster, Vince had no idea what to do with them, because on NXT there was potential. But when you put them on the main roster and with limited spots and all the ad breaks and all the crappy backstage pantomime that no one gives a shit about, give us wrestling, it's hardly a surprise they wouldn't have the work or be able to make the money with a faction like Hit Row. The next thing I want to address before we move on to a different subject, and yes, we'll still circle back later, concerns The Miz and Cody Rhodes during a promo. The Miz kicked off Monday Night Raw with Cody Rhodes as his guest. Cody spoke about the last 6 years and his desires to win the undisputed WWE Universal Championship belt. I have a number of issues with that long title, don't worry. The Miz though said that it is not a belt, but a title, because a belt holds your trousers up, which is something Vince is renowned for saying. The thing here is, a title is given to another person, you're right, which just makes this look even more like a pantomime, doesn't it, when you really think about it? It is in fact a belt though, because a belt is awarded to the, well, chosen title holder. Yes, so either you're telling me the belt is redundant, or it solely exists for merch, which is more than likely. It is a belt though. That is an immutable fact. While the winner is predetermined and therefore the title is bestowed upon the person who is predetermined to win, that person is made to carry a belt around. And wrestlers are not superstars. You have watered down what it means to be a superstar and redefined it. You, the WWE, want them to be perceived on par with the rock stars of old. They're not. Again, you build a person up as a brand, and that person is at best a weak tea actor, suffering succotash. And all that did, that promo, whether it be a work, scripted, a pantomime, whatever, was just show that even if it was scripted, you have just told the audience that everything is fake 100% because it's all predetermined. Which I don't find it hard to believe. I really don't. Vince does like to rub it in everyone's faces that they're mugs. We're all mugs. Now to move on from that, I'd like to now talk about Tommy Robinson, which could well get this video demonetized. Yay, smash the like. If you have an online presence or have been active on social media for, let's say, the better part of a decade, you will undoubtedly know who Tommy Robinson is.
Real name Stephen Yaxley Lennon.
According to literally every article that ever talks about him, they have to name drop that. Like I give a flying fuck. Over the years, Tommy Robinson has risen to popularity, become the voice of the voiceless. He has become a martyr for free speech in some instances as well, whether that be intentionally or not. He himself becoming a bit of a free speech warrior when he was developing his YouTube channel, which was terminated, along with every presence he had on social media almost everywhere. I'm sure there are some places he's still active, I just don't know where. With the consequences of what he has done, things have not been easy for Tommy Robinson.
Real name Stephen Yaxley Lennon.
Just going to insert this now. In a number of instances where he has been in trouble, it has not been his fault. Perhaps some things he said in the past, being the founder of EDL of all things, has come back to bite him on the backside, but he has been the victim of assault, which is unacceptable. He was arrested and put in prison within an hour because he did break the rules, yes, when it came to covering something which you should not cover while the trial is ongoing. But because he was not afforded his due process, yes, things got messy. Well, things have continued to get messy for him. I was led to believe he'd left the country and emigrated somewhere else because the constant, perpetual harassment of his family was a bit much. If you want to go in on him, go nuts. But his family? No, leave them out of it, come on.
Oh, but the wife could stop him.
Don't go after her and don't go after his children. Or ex, I can't remember anymore. In a video posted in October 2018, Tommy had claimed that a person who was a former schoolboy who was the victim of an attack at Huddersfield School had attacked female pupils. Tommy was ordered to pay more than £43,000 in legal costs. 4 months later, he declared bankruptcy. We're going to put that aside for a moment, because we'll come back to it later. More recently, Tommy Robinson went to Mexico, so that bankruptcy, right? He took his children, went on a little Easter holiday. Upon arriving at the airport, though, Tommy Robinson was detained and separated from his children for national security reasons. The children were subsequently left with a friend, with their mother flying out to collect them. By the way, no, you shouldn't do that. If you want to arrest him, fine, or hold him, hold the children as well, keep them with the parent. By doing that, you have created a state of panic. He was, by the way, deported and sent back, and rather amusingly, it did not get any easier for him because, upon landing at Manchester Airport, he was stood in the baggage area of Manchester Airport waiting for his luggage to then be confronted by an officer armed with a taser, who grabbed him by his collars and detained him. Fun fact though, in that incident, Tommy kept saying, "What are you going on about?" while the officer says, "Do you understand that?" Reaches for his handcuffs, Robinson moves them away, asking, "What have I done?" The fun part is, that was an accident, and he was not meant to be detained at all, because they got the wrong person, which was later proven because the officer had to apologize to him, which Tommy did not accept. The police officer was a bit aggressive, I will admit. By UK standards, the police officer would be in prison. The final part. Tommy Robinson has now been summoned to face contempt proceedings after failing to attend court to answer questions over his finances. Could still afford that trip though to Cancun, right? Interesting. Because he hasn't paid legal bills after he lost that libel case that I earlier mentioned. So he could in fact be issued an arrest warrant if he fails to attend the court on the 6th of May. I'm kind of intrigued to see how this one plays out, because Tommy's had a real rough run of late. Whether you pity him or not, couldn't care less. Just stating it how it is. Moving on, let's talk about P&O Ferries, because they decided they're not done being colossal dipshits. I have on 2 occasions within the exhibition of stupid people, I think in fact the last 2, discussed how P&O Ferries are complete dipshits. Well, they've continued with this particular train of thought, behavior pattern. If you don't know anything about them, allow me to help you. Because P&O Ferries knew the employees, 800 of them, would not take a pay cut that would be less than minimum wage in the United Kingdom, they fired them without consulting the government, who has bailed them out with millions of pounds on multiple occasions. The chief executive, in fact, of P&O Ferries, when summoned to the House of Parliament, admitted as such, and conceded that they would have done it all over again because the profit margin, YOLO swag fam. The government is likely to issue a considerable number of fines, because it turns out under maritime law, the minimum wage that they pay employees is £5 less than what it is in the United Kingdom, something which will be addressed and corrected in the UK. As a consequence, P&O ferries, they're not getting good optics, and it's unlikely to change anytime soon. For a company that's claiming to be a bit tight on money, they've spent an awful lot on sponsorships. Well, Easter is approaching, everyone. 4-day weekends for most of you, not for me. I am self-employed. I work every day of the week, which I like. But for those who have those 4 days off, many people are going on holiday. If you're in the UK, you'll know already there are issues. At airports, there are backlogs. There are cancellations, rescheduled flights leading to queues that take hours to fix, leading to some people to collapse from waiting for so long. While we are known for enjoying a bloody good queue, we have limitations. Those queues are not likely to get any easier, because it's not just at airports, it's now also in the roads. There is a log jam when it comes to lorries, and that's been ongoing for quite some time. Some saying it's Brexit red tape, others saying actually it's something far simpler. Lorry cancer, obviously. P&O ferries have politely asked us all to hold their Bud Light piss beer, so that they continue to add to this and look like even bigger plonkers, where they have axed all services and told customers to find another travel firm. They suspended services since March. P&O recently announced that they were getting ready to resume services across a number of vital routes. How's that looking out for you? No one can get to your ferries at the moment anyway because of the logjam on the M20. It's called Operation Brock, just in case you didn't know, and no, that does not mean Operation Brock Lesnar! No. But this isn't where it ends, everyone. See, P&O made a promise. For any customer who had to cancel the booking during the disruption, they promised a full refund. They have decided to imitate Senpai Conservative Party by U-turning on that promise. Interestingly, I wonder if it has anything to do with the fact that 7 of P&O's 8 ships have yet to pass full safety inspections and remain stuck in port. They've got to keep the money and pretend that they can offer the service even though they can't offer the service. Here is a picture of the promise they made. They promised it, but they've decided, nah. You really don't want customers to come back to you, do you? At this point, you've got to be taking the piss. I know you are hard up monetarily and you just want customers to enjoy their experience. I don't think they enjoy the experience if they didn't even get to get on the boat. I could be wrong here, but I don't think they get to enjoy it. I could be wrong though. And of course, I defer to you, P&O Ferries, to explain this bullshit, dipshits. So to the final subject, and yes, this will in fact now swing round and round like a roundabout, all the way back to a tangible connection to the WWE, in the form of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who purchased off of Vince McMahon the XFL. The XFL is a professional American football league that consists of 8 teams divided equally between an East and West division. The seasons run from February to April, with each team playing a 10-game regular season and 4 progressing to playoffs to crown a season champion. Dwayne bought it off Vince for $15 million. It was alleged Vince had spent hundreds of millions on it. With the XFL now under new ownership, there needs to be a way of rebranding it to then get it to, well, succeed in ways that it never did in the near 20 years it has existed. Let's not forget here, in the first year alone it lost $35 million. So I do wish Dwayne the best of luck with this one. With that rebranding comes a new logo. This is the new logo. This is the old logo. It is a very different change. It looks very digital clock. I like it. It's interesting, right? Well, somebody has taken great issue with this in the form of Megan Rapinoe. Megan Rapinoe is an American soccer player who takes great umbrage with the design of the logo because it looks too similar to that of Together XR, which is a company that she and her wife Sue Bird, along with US teammate Alex Morgan, snowboarder Chloe Kim, and swimmer Simone Manuel, created to challenge conventional roles for women in society. I'm sure it'll do just as well then as the original XFL. Megan Rapinoe tweeted out, "Welp, this is awkward. Only thing The Rock and XFL are going to be cooking up is a response to the cease and desist and an entire new brand ID. @TogetherXR got this on lock, boys. Morgan herself saying that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, I guess. Shout out to my team for creating a badass brand name, logo, and background story that resonates for so many. A statement from TogetherXR reads, TogetherXR and its co-founders have worked tremendously hard to build a platform that uplifts women in sports and culture. We were disheartened to see the announcement of the XFL's new branding and logo, which has striking similarities to our own. It is our mission to weave representation and equality into all that we do, which is why we've issued a legal notice to the XFL highlighting our concerns. Thing here is, they don't look alike. They really don't when you look at the font of the writing for XFL and the font of the writing for TogetherXR. Yeah? They don't look alike at all. You just believe the X is where the similarity is. But it isn't similar in the slightest, because you're not looking at it. Those subtle differences are the key here, and I don't see it ending well for Megan Rapinoe at all. The only way it does is that because of this attention you will get from this, not my video but the articles themselves calling Dwayne out, you will get more interest in your product and criticism, which you can then fob off and use for victim points because how dare anyone criticize the GOAT Megan Rapinoe, right? Anyway, as we are done, I'd love to know what you all think. Please do let me know in the comments down below. Please smash the like, please leave a comment. Hope you have a fantastic day everyone, and thank you all very much for listening. Ta-ta.